Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the launch of GlobalDEM. We're very happy to be here today. GlobalDEM is the global elevation model, and we'll be explaining more about that. So we have three people to present this to you and answer your questions, and at the end, firstly, I'd like to introduce you to Bernard Brenner, who is the new head of Geointelligence at Airbus Defence and Space. And this is his first time at GeoEnt, so we're also excited to have him here for this. And Andreas Roslaard, who is the business manager for SAR at Airbus Defence and Space, of course. And last but not least, Gertrude Riegler, GlobalDEM product manager. So firstly, Bernard will do the presentation, and then we'll have question and answers at the end for about 15 minutes. So I'll let Bernard get started then.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this press briefing here at GeoEnt in Tampa. So, Reaching New Heights, that's the title of our presentation, and it's not just new heights, it's a new name for us. It's Airbus. We are very proud to be now officially under the name of Airbus. So it's also under a new company, Airbus Defence and Space. So that's for the first time that we are branding with this new name here at GeoEnt. So we're excited and we have a lot of news to share with you. There's not so much change for Geo Information Services, which was formerly a business division of Astrum Services. So we became now a program line of Airbus Defence and Space. Just like many other program lines, the Airbus 400M, the Eurofighter, the satellites, or let's say all the electronic business. So we are one of them, one of these program lines. Of course, this gives us many new opportunities. It's not just about branding. It's not just about the new name. There's a real rationale behind. And this rationale is quite deep. The opportunities in Airbus Defence and Space are very big with our colleagues from commercial aircraft, with our colleagues from the helicopter division, or what already has existed, with our colleagues from Cassidian or in the satellite system. So today, if someone is purchasing a new satellite from our colleagues from satellites, we can take full care of the services behind, and so it's a complete value chain. Some words as an introduction. 2013, I think, was an exciting year for us. It was the year of our turnaround. It was a year with a lot of growth. We grew by 10%. It was a year of huge successes, mainly with Pléiades, where we took some nice contracts, Google, GeoNorth, some more could be mentioned. Of course, it was also the breakthrough of our VHR with Pléiades, where we took some market share from Digital Globe, and I think we're not yet done. I think we're still hungry to go for these market shares. So 2014 will be a different year. We started quite well, and I think this year we want to boost our SAR capabilities. That's why we are here. We are here to present you this new game changer, which is called GlobalDEM. I think for those who are familiar with Geointelligence, no big news. I think we're the only one in the market having the VHR. We do have optical and SAR satellites. So Spot 7 will be launched quite soon. We are quite strong in data and solutions. I think last year it was about 30% of our turnover we already did with solutions. So it's not just about selling data. So this is something we want to address, where we have ambition, where we want to grow, And again, Airbus Defence and Space gives us many opportunities in this respect for our solution business. Of course, the data management is something we take care. We do have solutions inside our geointelligence group. Customer balance, we are quite well customer-based balanced. We do have about 70 customers for our 70% of turnover. That's quite easy to memorize. That's not the case for Digital Globe. I think we are quite strong in this respect. We are also quite well balanced regionally, because today we are already we are present in all parts of this world. We have about 15 companies in geointelligence all over, and our revenues are quite well balanced in this world. So with this kind of with these words of introduction, I'm really happy to have you here to share with you this launch, and we are proud to announce the official launch of the commercial GlobalDEM. This is a game changer, and I hand over to Andreas now to give you some more details about GlobalDEM.
Yeah, thanks, Bernard. Welcome everybody from my side as well. So what I would like to do is to give you a little deeper dive into the GlobalDEM product to make you familiar with the actual product. So what does GlobalDEM mean? So 4 key points here. We have a standardized GlobalDEM, which means that it is a seamless, homogeneous elevation model, pole to pole, covering the whole landmass of the Earth, about 150 million square kilometers. Sorry about that. And all the data is coming from one unique source, which is the TerraSAR-X and TandemX satellite formation. Unrivaled quality, so the GlobalDEM will be unique in quality. So we have a 12-meter pixel spacing, 12-meter posting product. At least if you consider, or unrivaled quality, at least if you consider that this is really a true global product, not local or regional. In addition, we have the accuracy of a new dimension. So actually that means in fact, in numbers, we're down to like 4-meter vertical accuracy, horizontal accuracy and absolute, and vertical accuracy relative. We can even go down to less than 2 meters, of course, depending on the slope.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, did you say 4 meters horizontal?
I'm sorry, it is 4-meter vertical accuracy absolute, I'm sorry for that, and 2-meter vertical accuracy relative. So the 4th bullet point would be easy and instant access. So the final goal of the GlobalDEM mission is to have an off-the-shelf product. This is of course a little bit down the road. For the moment we will have all the imagery, the input imagery collected, and based on client requests and on internal initiatives, we will process and put the information, put the actual DEM into a GlobalDEM database where step by step the data is available off the shelf from now on. So the combination of these factors here is really key. So you have the global coverage, it's a true global coverage, pole to pole. You have the unique quality and accuracy, as well as a quick availability of the information. Just comparing the GlobalDEM to other data sources, which you well know. So we have the SRTM 90-meter DEM looking like that, compared to the SRTM 30-meter, and then compared to our current 12-meter pixel spacing GlobalDEM. So this is the comparison of all the 3 of us, and you can see the increased level of detail of the GlobalDEM product. You can easily identify sharp outline the rivers. What you can see is the outlines and the edges of wooden areas. You can see lakes, you can see roads and streets. And if you follow the river up to the north, before it hits the lake, you can see an actual dam over there. Another sample telling you a little bit about the detail of the level of detail of the GlobalDEM. So this is a geocell with, of Minnesota, and that's of course a small snippet of it. What you can see, this is really just the GlobalDEM elevation model, not an actual image. You can see the highway junctions and other roads, smaller roads that are really access to the highway. On both sides of the highway you can see rivers, you can see wooded areas close to the rivers. On the right side, at the river, close to the river, you can see lines of trees, so very much high level of detail that you can see in the GlobalDEM. Another slide to regarding the level of detail here. What you see here is a comparison between the GlobalDEM on the left side and the LiDAR-DEM on the right side. What needs to be mentioned here is, of course, you can see the increased quality of the LiDAR-DEM, but this is just truly local. It's based on optical airborne imagery and only available locally, while this is a true global elevation model, and the level of detail is at least coming close to what LiDAR offers on a local basis. Also, the height values here, we see total height values here are very similar, so we're just seeing a 1 meter offset from the GlobalDEM height values to the LiDAR-DEM. Having talked about the precision of the GlobalDEM, this really allows you to gain a lot of terrain knowledge, not only, but of course, very important here for intelligence applications. So the GlobalDEM is a real good foundation layer for all your intelligence data and products. So it's homogeneous, like we said earlier. It's standardized and it's globally, so you have reliable and precise layer and can optimize all your systems and equipments like aircraft systems, like vehicles or maybe simulators and so on and so forth. So you have a great terrain knowledge which your mission planning and your mission operations can benefit from. So all in all, summarizing that, it's really an improved responsiveness and efficiency, especially for the defense and security missions here. So this is a small movie. It takes like 2.5 hours. So I'm sorry, minutes. I'm so sorry.
Fall asleep.
So showing you a little bit about the applications and the quality of the GlobalDEM as well. So military mission planning, of course, we talked about that just the slide before. Decision making, where do I want to go with my troops, with my convoys, which is the best way to guide them, to lead them. Making sure that you have effective mission operations. Again, the quality 12 meter pixel spacing compared to SRTM 30 meter. One application would be flight route planning, in this case for a helicopter, of course also works for aircraft and low-level flight aircrafts. And in addition to that, of course, landing zone identification and planning. As mentioned earlier, very precise, pole-to-pole, unrivaled quality and accuracy on a global scale. Can also be used for imagery or rectification to have a foundation layer for any geo systems. And of course, targeting would be an application, line of sight and analysis of slopes for your mission planning, route planning, and convoys. Also, smart weapon systems, UAVs, will also benefit from the GlobalDEM. And then, yeah, mission planning, also for disaster response, of course. so far with the official movie, at least not 2.5 hours, just 2.5 minutes. Yeah, a little bit of small information at the end of that short presentation. So the WorldDEM is really the product that is coming out of the so-called tandem mission. And the mission goal has always been, and of course still is, the seamless global elevation model at a 33 accuracy level. How we do achieve that, we have 2 radar satellites in space. One of them is called TerraSAR-X since 2007, the other one Tandem-X since 2010. We brought both of the satellites in a very, very close and unique formation, so they come close at like even less than 200 meters in sometimes, so it's really very close. And they fly a formation that we call the bistatic formation or helix formation, which is that the satellites not only orbit the Earth, but actually also orbit each other to make sure that they would never cross the path of the other satellite. So that's why we call it the helix formation. Yeah, the final quality of the WorldDEM is a result of different factors here. So it's not only the fact that we have quality controls within the processing and every editing step, some manual, some automated. It already starts with the whole satellite imagery collection. So you have 2 satellites that are very precise in orbit, so that fly a very precise path, high geolocation and high orbit accuracy. And then you have, in addition to that, multiple coverages of the Earth. So we have at least always looked out for 2 global coverages of the world. And then for challenging terrain, we also had a 3rd and a 4th coverage to make sure that there are no typical radar effects like shadow layover in there. So all of this, starting from the satellite formation and data collection way down the road to the DEM editing, ensures in various steps the high quality of the WorldDEM. The whole WorldDEM mission, tandem mission, the whole WorldDEM product is realized as part of a public-private partnership between the German Aerospace Center, which is DLR, as you can see here, and Airbus Space and Defense. While the German Aerospace Center, the German NASA, so to speak, is operating the spacecraft as well as the ground segment and taking care of the first raw DSM processing, while Airbus is taking care of the editing, the creation of the final products that we will offer to the market, and the editing of these products. So we hold the commercial exploitation rights for all the imagery and, of course, the WorldDEM product. So the WorldDEM product line, this is what we kick off today. So we have the WorldDEM core, as we have called it. So it is the unfinished, or if you like, the unedited digital surface model. There is no additional editing or processing being attached, so that means that the product still shows some artifacts, voids. This is very useful for clients that might want to do their own editing due to own specifications. The actual real WorldDEM product is the WorldDEM for sure. So this is the fully edited, the finally edited surface model with all the water bodies flattened, as you can see right here. The rivers running downhill as they should, and you can see a clear outline of the shoreline. So just the two compared here, left side, in that picture, the WorldDEM, the edited product, with the water body smooth, so that's very obvious, and then on the right side, the core without the flattened water bodies, without all the editing done. And then coming soon, a third product that is not launched today, but it's coming soon. It is the actual digital terrain model. So this is coming from a surface model just to the bare earth product, meaning we would remove, by editing the man-made objects as well as all the vegetation, so that you really end up with a terrain model, a bare earth model. Having said that, I'm already at the end of my short briefing, so I would like to invite you again, as Bernard already did, to the WorldDEM launch reception. It will be hosted by the USGIF, by the German Aerospace Center, as well as us, Airbus Defense and Space, taking place at the Marriott, right across the street, tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. So So thank you for that. I think we keep going with some questions.
Thank you, Andreas. Clarice, is it okay? Can we open with the questions?
Yes, that's
Okay. You take the lead on the...
well, Amy.
Hi, Amy Butler with Aviation Week. I'd like to get an idea of who do you have as customers already, or do you already have customers for these products? And what is your business model in order to be successful? How much do you have to sell?
So,
Let's start with the first one.
you should be commercial. I like it. I like your question. So, of course, we are very keen promoting this, and you can imagine that we already have a deep discussion with a lot of nations on the military side, but also, let's say, a kind of high number of prospects on the commercial side. I think, of course, I think the military will be something which is something very interesting for us. So many nations interested. We talk about the free products you have seen, the core product, but interesting for us is also the editing. So I think the editing brings a lot of added value for the customer. So maybe Gertrude, you want to add on something on this?
Maybe just to mention some industries or so. So the aviation industry, we are in contact with many different people. Then also oil and gas, because it's also a market segment which operates worldwide. So all these business operating worldwide, these of course are say main customers maybe in the future.
Okay.
So.
But of course, you can imagine inside Airbus Group, we have a lot of things which are flying, and we make them fly. So this Zulu axis is something which is quite interesting for them in the elevation. It could be a missile, it's a helicopter on the simulation for. So all this, I think we have a huge internal need for this world.
So just to close the loop, do you have any customers yet, or are you looking for your
Not yet signed.
Okay. Not yet signed.
On your digital terrain model, I know you're removing foliage and trees and all of that. Are you also removing buildings and any kind of infrastructure?
Yes.
Yeah, we're working on that, how to do that. So it's worldwide. So this is a point, can we really remove each single house? But yeah, we're thinking about really removing all man-made objects, let's say, and vegetation.
So that's the general principle, and now it's all about the specifications. How far would you want to go into detail?
Yeah, I have a question. In your opening remarks, you were talking about digital globe and how with respect to digital globe you want to boost the capabilities this year. In fact, you already have quite a number of satellite imagery in your kitty in terms of the variety. You have SAR, you have optical all together. So how do you think you are planning to improve your capabilities and also market your products in a much better way to reach the larger audience?
I think we have different business models with Digital Globe, and I envy them because they have one really big customer which we don't have yet. So I think this obliges us to run a different business model, and I think all what you have seen about resolution, 50 true or whatever, I think there are many points which are important too. It's the reactivity, it's the way to approach the business, the flexibility in service letter agreements. So this is important for customer too. I think we did a tremendous job in the US this year, globally speaking, worldwide. We were overgrowing the market, and I think, of course, DG is a great competitor, and we like competition. So, but I think if we can take more market share, we are definitely motivated to do so.
So any specific plans to increase your market share?
Yeah, I think we had the first year of Pléiades last year, so I think the ramp up was quite impressive. we have seen a tremendous months of December, and this trend continues. So I think a lot of customers are convinced not just about, let's say, accuracy and all this resolution. It's much more, and I think we definitely will grow in this direction. So I think in terms of reseller, we do have 140 resellers in this world. That's something which is much more than DG. I think we are in the regions already today in Asia. We are quite strong. We are strong in the US. We do have fantastic perspectives in Latin America, in Africa. So I think it will be a nice fight this year. Yes, please.
Colin Clark, Breaking Defense. Do you think that you might have a chance to compete for that single one large customer that DG has, or would that not be practicable because of shutter controls and other such things?
We try hard, but maybe Greg, maybe you say a word. Mr. Greg Backman is our head of our US subsidiaries, Sycorp, RGS, and iCubed in Fort Collins, and respective in Chantilly.
I'll talk loud since I don't have a microphone. I think it's a great question, and of course the big contract is the one everyone wants to own. But I think what we find is we're able to bring value into that large customer, the US DoD and the NGA, through different types of capabilities. So I don't know that we'll be competing directly against in that enhanced view type contract environment, but finding other avenues, other partners, and other ways to bring the capabilities of our full scope of constellation and systems into that government customer. So I do expect we'll see some growth in that area.
Do you think that would be through resellers, or would it be direct, or?
I think that
or anything you can find.
Partnering is how we approach it on a fairly consistent basis. So a combination.
You mean partnering with a US company, or?
Yes, partnering with different U.S. organizations.
So US customers, you mean, or companies?
Companies.
Okay, sorry.
Almost, if you would, all the above.
Okay.
Probably maybe a nice way to.
But on that front, I mean, the DoD had flirted with SAR, and Lockheed teamed up, like, maybe was it with the Italians, and the Israelis teamed up with Northrop, and nothing came of it that we know of. So what makes you think
Well,
this?
we currently have contracts in place with the NGA, the ComStar contract, and continuing discussions with the customers as well. What we do see is, what's exciting for us is a very high demand and customer requirement that's coming from various commands across the globe. And so we continue to work with the NGA and other contracting groups in order to help bring that reactivity and bring that benefit of the radar to that customer group
So are you selling direct to COCOMs?
on certain occasions.
So how much is your US DoD or intelligence community business worth, can you say?
Not as big as digital globes.
That's a safe bet.
Can you say bigger than a bread box? Or, I mean,
We see it, we believe there's growth opportunity in that marketplace. And again, it comes down to capabilities that services the need of the warfighter and people on the ground that can benefit in terms of what we're able to bring to bear in the marketplace that may not be as widely available today.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you had a slide comparing your data to LiDAR. Do you consider this as a possible alternative to getting a LiDAR scan? Or are you still more comparing yourselves against the other satellites that are up there?
Gertrude, would you like to answer this one?
I would say in many regions, yes, it really works. It's due to these, as mentioned, very high vertical accuracy, better than 2 meters in up to a certain slope. It really can compete with this, and let's say what was shown was of course not the densest city ever, so I wouldn't say it works in Manhattan downtown or so, but in an area like this, in open areas, in not, as I said, not really downtown somewhere, I think it's definitely a solution, absolutely.
Do you have like a cost ratio versus comparing what a LiDAR scan would be versus using your data?
The factor of 10, I would say.
10 times the cost to do
Yeah.
LiDAR?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, which way does it go?
Yeah,
You're
cheaper.
10 times cheaper.
Cheaper.
Just want to make sure.
Thank you.
You're right, but it's definitely cheaper.
Makes sense, but
Yes,
So
please.
you mentioned that you've got the 3 tiers of products, the core, the WorldDEM, and then
Yes.
the one that you're currently developing, right? So are the first 2 tiers fully available globally? Or do you have, I mean, is this all in a database? Or do I, the client, call you and say, I'm going to invade some little piddly country in Africa and I need data? Because you mentioned that you could be reactive.
Maybe Andreas can develop on this coverage on the
Yeah.
first 2 and the number 3 and the number 4 in the countries which are available in our samples.
Yeah, sure. So what happens is, as the approach of collecting the input imagery was step by step, first coverage, second coverage, and then for challenging terrain, third and fourth coverage, the same goes a little bit like this with the processing of the product. So what happens is that the German Aerospace Center, now the data, let's say that the complete input data is available. So there's just a few more weeks left in data collection. That's absolutely minor. So that means we are completely get rid of the whole collection period. So that's done. And from there, we now get step by step, every day, like 50 geocells pre-processed or the raw processed product from the German Aerospace Center. So then, with that, every day, 50 geocells approximately, we will build our own Airbus internal database, and then a client comes in with a request, and we have a look at the database, and from there, we find the area, it is hopefully available at our database, and then from there we process the GlobalDEM product.
Okay.
So that's actually only the processing, the editing process is left. The whole data acquisition that was really the killer often is gone. And then we fill up the database, so whenever a client comes in and requests a certain area, we would not only edit the certain requested area, but the whole geocell. We put it in the archive, and therefore we build up the database step by step, so that we, let's say, every day or every week, we have more of the world off the shelf available. Because once it's processed, it goes into the database, and every other client can just grab it off the shelf.
And did you say that you required 4 passes, I'm sorry, to get all of the right elevation data, or what was that about the 4
Yeah, the
coverages?
approach was from the very beginning to collect imagery of the world at least twice globally. So really, 1.5 years first global coverage of data collection, and then another 1.5 years second global coverage, and then we looked at very, very challenging terrain, mountainous areas, and we decided that to ensure the absolute high quality of the product, we might for these regions do a third and a fourth coverage using other path directions or a different baseline, which is the difference, let's say the distance between the satellites.
The Canadian Pacific coastline is probably the most challenging, no?
Okay.
Definitely. There is a lot more challenging areas, so yeah, but Canada is truly, really a hard thing to do.
I'm sorry, does that mean that you have a database now for the entire globe that in theory you could sell?
Yes.
Yes.
And it exists already?
Yes.
Okay.
But so, I thought you mentioned you were still waiting for cells to move
Right,
from
that's
DLR.
why.
Yeah, you have the database now is, let's say, all the imagery. So at DLR, like I said, processes the raw DSM and delivers to us, and that flows every day. So it really builds up, and then we have the raw DSM sitting with us. The database builds up every day, and from there we edit the final GlobalDEM product and deliver to the client.
Yes.
Just to clarify one thing, I understand the 4-meter vertical absolute accuracy, but you said 2 meters relative accuracy, and the imagery really looks like it should be better than 2 meters relative accuracy.
It's a German approach, being decent.
Okay.
Actually, this was the mission goal, and we definitely achieved that. And you're absolutely right, we already got feedback from some partners saying in their areas they achieve better vertical accuracy than the 2 meters.
What were people reporting to you as
In this
the
case,
relative?
specific relative, it was about 1 meter. We are really down to 1 meter.
Yes, please.
Thank you. I understand the complexity of creating the original WorldDEM and how many passes you did on the complex areas. are you talking at, looking to the future, years down the road, how often do you think you'll update it?
That's a question we are asking ourselves. So I think we are not very clear on the answer, but definitely it's an option for us. Definitely it's an
Yeah.
option.
I'm just anticipating it will come up, right? At some point it will come up.
Especially if you're targeting things.
After earthquakes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It probably also depends on how well the GlobalDEM product now is being sold, and then we'll have to make a decision on that quite soon.
I'd like to get a little bit more data about your claim of taking market share from Digital Globe. Do you have some numbers to, show how much of the market share you feel you have been able to take away from them?
I think we started 2013 with about 3%, quite low, and I think we ended up with about 14 to 15%, if I'm not wrong.
Of the market?
Yeah. So,
And you
still
attribute
some
that-
percentage to be taken, no?
But you attribute that to Playag?
Sorry, yes. But we stay humble, huh? So it's 15 is not bothering too much our big competitor.
And so, are you waiting until you get a customer to hire and train your analysts, or do you already have trained analysts ready to go? I mean, how quickly, if you have a contract, do you turn on the services?
You're talking about GlobalDEM or generally?
I'm sorry, yes, for WorldDEM.
We have our specification in place because we want to have a homogeneous product. So that's, we can do customized products, of course, but first of all, as explained before, we want to build the database. And for that, we need really one specification for the data we'll have.
And so I want to be clear though, the gentleman in the back was saying that you do have customers in co-coms and things like that. But you're waiting, those are older customers for other products, not for WorldDEM, right? So you do have WorldDEM customers or?
Potential customers.
Oh, okay. So you're looking for a launch customer essentially?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were being cagey or.
But we are pretty confident to find it.
How quickly do you think it'll happen?
Next GeoInt, you will have big news.
By the end of the year?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
And so that's for customers on specifically WorldDEM. What about the core? Does the core already have customers?
We are talking about this, yes. But in parallel, of course, we are working already on these editing packages, and yeah, so these will be very national demands, of course, in the specific nations. So we will partner with many companies in this respect. But we have quite a global rollout in this respect.
And so who do you plan to partner with company-wise in the US?
Here again, we have very clear ideas. We have very clear ideas, but it's a little bit early to talk about it.
It's okay, you can share with us.
Next month is Space Symposium, so.
Otherwise, we won't be writing about it.
A little bit too early. Sorry for that. Clarice, any?
Last question?
Are there examples of your imagery on
Yes,
this that
there's-
we can publish?
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's a copyright in there as well. It's a little bit complicated.
Copyright.
I know.
German's always very
Oh, we are not just German. Clarice.